أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا حبيب إله رب العالمين أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين ولعنة الدائم على أعدائهم أجمعين من الآن إلى قيام يوم الدين. أما بعد، قال أبا عبد الله الجعفر الصادق عليه السلام في دعائه: رجب بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم، يا من أرجوه لكل خير وآمن سخطه عند كل شر، يا من يؤتي الكثير بالقليل، يا من يؤتي من سأله، يا من يؤتي من لم يسأله ومن لم يعرف، تهننا منه ورحمة، أعتني بمسألتي إياك جميع خير الدنيا وجميع خير الآخرة، واصرف عني بمسألتي إياك جميع شر الدنيا وشر الآخرة، فإنه غير منقوص ما أعطيت، وزدني من فضلك يا كريم يا ذا الجلال والإكرام يا ذا النعماء والجود يا ذا المن والتول، حرم شيبتي على النار وجميع المؤمنين والمؤمنات as well. Welcome to Perspective and welcome to the month of Rajab. This month we will be looking and providing the perspective on the du'as of the month of Rajab and about this month of Rajab, and also we have a lot of events such as the birth of Imam Ali alayhi salam, such as the Mab'ath itself, such as the Amal of Dawood, and people go for i'tikaf and the importance of i'tikaf. We will be looking at some of the spiritual aspect or perspectives of this month. Last month we also kind of pointed out to, as it was just the beginning of the month, a little bit about the month of Rajab. We will enhance on the same topic, or the same information that was provided to you all. As we all know that this month is the month in which the Prophet have asked abundantly to recite astaghfar, and he has mentioned that why don't one purify the breath of oneself by the recitation of astaghfar. A person's breath become pungent, a person's breath become smelly because of the sins that a person commits. And the sins that a person commits could be from the intake that he has. For example, if he is not eating halal, obviously that food that is in his belly will provide that bad breath to him. His intake, in the sense that his ideology and his understanding of the maktab of Ahl Bayt alayhimus salam is not correct, and is not even from the correct sources. Sometimes one have the knowledge that one is gaining is good, but the source sometimes, or the vehicle, the medium that it is delivered by, is contaminated. So there is a possibility of that message being contaminated. It is just like, for example, if you have a glass and the water is pure, but if the glass itself is not pure, is dirty, then when you drink that water, you will be drinking that water. You might get rid of the thirst that you have. That water might come to an aid to a certain extent, but at the same time, it will bring about certain illnesses to the person. So even for us, a true sublime, crystallized, crystal clear source is also very important. Where are we really gaining this from? So therefore the astaghfar will come about, and its recitation of astaghfar will purify these things, will purify the mouth, will purify the breath, will forgive our sins that we have committed through this tongue, through this mouth, through this hand by signing a document, through this speech that we are speaking by accepting or by rejecting the truth, for example. So the month of Rajab is considered to be the month of Astaghfar. The Prophet have abundantly asked his companions, and Prophet still asks the followers of Ahl Bayt, the followers of Islam, to Muslims, that to do as much Astaghfar that one can do in this month of Rajab. The month of Rajab also marks the birth of the first Imam, the very unique, in a special way, the birth of Amir al-Mu'mineen that took place in the house of God itself, which is fascinating and amazing in itself. A fact that the history have recorded, that how Fatima bint Asad, the mother, entered the Kaaba, and in there Imam Ali alayhi salam was born. So the month of Rajab is also known as the month of Wilayat, because of the birth of Imam Ali alayhi salam, because of the advent of the Quran, because of the Wilayat that we also find of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala within it, where one connects to God without any takallufat, ta'arufat, any formalities, where one says, Ya man yamliku hawaij as-sa'ilin, Ya man yamliku hawaij as-sa'ilin, Ya man yasma'u du'a, Ya man ya'lamu zamiru as-samitin. All the du'as, most of the du'as that we see, it doesn't have any sort of praises to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as a formality, but rather in these du'as one connect to Allah directly. Khabal wafiduna ala ghayrik wa khasar al mutarriduna illa bik. All of these are pointing out to that how one is connecting to God directly without any formalities. Ya man yamliku hawaij as-sa'ilin wa ya'lamu zamiru as-samitin likulli mas'alatin minka sam'un hadir wa jawabun atid Allahumma mawa'iduka as-sadiqa wa ayaduka al-fadila. All of these are pointing out to the unique aspect of the month of Rajab. Ya man arjuhu li kulli khair wa amanu sakhatahu inda kulli shar. Ya man, where a person directly connecting with God. So therefore the month of Rajab, known as the month of dua, known as the month of God himself, known as the month of Wilayat. The protector of the Quran came first, and the Quran came on the 27th of Rajab. 13th of Rajab is the birth of the protector of the Quran, and on the 27th of Rajab, Prophet brought the Quran, Mab'ath, the day Iqra, the day the Quran started. So this month is with full of blessing, with great opportunities for many who wants to supplicate, who wants to connect to God without any formalities. You know, this is the valley. This is the month is like a valley of the divine blessings and manifestations of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, pointing out to very quickly and very briefly this famous dua that we recite in this month of Rajab, it's quite important to have understanding of this dua that we recite. As we say, Ya man arjuhu li kulli khair. First of all, this dua comes to us from Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, one of the Sahabi who is known as Sajjad. He requested the Imam that, "Oh Imam, provide me with a dua." So Imam said, "Write Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim," and then he mentioned this dua to be recited after every prayer, every day. He recommended to be recited. In regards to this Sahabi of the Imam, has been known as that he used to cry so much in the sajda that he lost his eyesight. Is what are we doing and where we are? These companions of the Imams who were with the Imam, who had the guarantee of paradise, who served the Imam, like day in and day out, sincerely, so closely, saw the Imam and served the Imam, but still how they were losing the eyesight in the sajda by crying is really something to really ponder upon, something to really think about it, right? Ya man arjuhu likulli khair, as this dua, as we said, comes from Imam Sadiq. It begins with Ya man arjuhu, without any ta'arufat wa takallufat. There's a Ya man, the one, the one who is directly approaching Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, where he is saying that in this dua, where he says, "O he from whom I hope for all goodness." Every khair that we have in this dunya is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and there is no such thing other than khair. In this dunya, there is nothing that God have created is khair and good. The shar comes from us. The Prophet says, "Purify your mouth which have bad breath with astaghfar." So this bad breath is coming from me, not from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is providing us with the key, with the prescription of the purification of the mouth, purification of the breath, purification of the life. In kuntum tuhibbuna Allah fattabi'uni yuhibbukumullah. He is providing us with a methodology by which God will love us. And God have given this methodology to him. God have given this khair and goodness to him. Right? وَآتَيْنَاهُمْ بَيَّنَاتٍ. These bayanat, these proofs, these kitab, this mizan, as we recite in Surah Hadid, وَأَقِيمُوا النَّاسَ بِالْقِسْطِ, in order to establish justice. Uswat al-Hasana, he is the sublime morality, sublime example of humanity. Khulq Azim, it is the Prophet. God have provided him all of these great qualities. He has worked hard at the same time to really achieve all of these things, being a human being. So therefore for us the same. So the evil and the limitations comes from us, and from God nothing but khair comes. Ya man arjuhu likulli khair. Right? Now, in this dua, we are asking from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He provides us with all khair, with all goodness. So therefore, it is pointing out to that positive energy being given in this dua. The positive energy is that asking for goodness, and all khair comes from God and no one else. Whatsoever khair is from God and no one else. This is Tawheed. Imam is teaching us Tawheed. Where are those people who criticize the Maktab Ahl Bayt by saying that they do shirk, na'udhu billah? Imam is teaching, Ya man arjuhu likulli khair. All khair is from God and no one else. Imam taught us that. Masumin taught us that. Imam Hussein taught us that. Right? So therefore, when we go to the majalis, when we do Seen Zani, when we do matam, when we cry for our masumin, when we celebrate their birth, what are we learning? We are learning Tawheed. Ya man arjuhu likulli khair. That's what we are learning. That's why it is important for us to commemorate, to celebrate more and more, so that we can educate us and our children about Tawheed. The more majalis we do, the more jashn of wiladat we do and celebration we do, the more we should be learning Tawheed. That is the purpose of it. Then here it says that Ya man arjuhu likulli khair, and God is the one who provides all khair. Wa amanu, and at the same time the dua also says that, the dua also says that wa amanu sakhatahu inda kulli shar, and from whose displeasure at every evil I am safe. Because God doesn't have any evil. See, when you say something bad to a person in a fight, that person will multiply that 10 times and respond to you. Right? He will, if you say 1, he will give you 10. If you, right? That's usually the case. You know, when a fight happens, right? One responds in the worst way possible. You know, if I just do little bit hit, he's not going to exactly measure that and reply me in this. He's going to bang me hard, right? Eventually till he becomes victorious on me, because his banging and his sort of shouting and his anger should overpower my anger. That's one way to do it, right? So if I say something bad to him, in response I hear 10. Right? But with God it's not like that. The evil is mahfuz. We are protected. There is no such thing as evil within God. I say all khair is from God. But this is pointing out to that one is protected because God is adil, is just. He will give exactly what we have acted in regards to the evil. As God, because of His compassion and love, have clearly said that if you do 1 hasana, I will multiply that with 10. If you just intend for the hasana, I will give you the reward for that hasana. But when it comes to evil, when it comes to a sin, He will punish us exactly in accordance to the sin that one have committed out of His justice. But at the same time, we ask God, Ilahi amilna bifadlik wa la tu'amilna bi'adlik. Oh Allah, treat us with your fazilat, with your fadl and karam, with your kindness, but do not treat us with your justice, because we know that if you do justice in regards to us, we will be wal asra innal insana lafi khusr. We will be at loss. Insan is at loss because that amal saleh that we are doing is so contaminated. If it is measured in a balance, for example, mizan, as they say that on the day of judgment there will be mizan. Who are these mizan? What is this balance? The exegesis and the riwayat also points out to which the exegesis use. Mizan is Ali. Mizan is Masumin. Mizan is the Imam of that time. In one balance, for example, you have the Imam, and the other balance is the actions of yours. That is the Mizan, right? That's how one. So where our amal, where our action, the actions of the Imams and Masumin, where our actions and the actions of the awliya, where our actions and the actions of the shuhada, right? That is because they were also human beings. They were also insan. We are also insan. What a difference in our actions and their actions, right? So, Ilahi, amilna bifadlik, wala tu'amilna bi'adlik. That's what we ask for. So, wa amanahu sakhatahu inda kulli shar. Man is protected, is mahfuz, from whose displeasure at every evil I am safe, right? Ya man yu'til kathira bil qalil, as we recite, because God is the one, He who gives a lot in exchange of a little. We do just a little, in return He provides it abundance, right? Musa was asked to give thanks. Oh Musa, thank Allah. Then Musa says, oh Allah, the thank that I give, I have to do another thank for it. How can I really thank you? Imam Sajjad alayhi salam also have a very similar, understanding or a dua in which he recites, every thanksgiving of me requires another thanks. So therefore I can't really thank you, O Allah. There is no limit that I can thank you, because the bounties of yours are so many. I am so little, and when even I ask for something that is so little, but in return you provides me in abundance. I do so little, but in return you provide me so much. I do something that I have no ownership of it, because all ownership belongs to you. But in return you provides me a reward for it, which I don't really deserve. Everything and every khair is God's and belongs to God's. What does it really belongs to us? For us is nothing but faqr. We are always in need, we are always poor. That is our true essential reality. We are considered to be wujud rabit, according to some of the great 16th century philosopher. They came up with the terminology of wujud rabt. Our wujud and our existence is like the light of the sun, where if there be no sun, there will be no light. Our wujud and our existence is like that shadow of those bodies that fall on the ground. If there be no these bodies, we will have no shadow of it, and if there be no light, there will be no shadow of it as well. So it is our essential reality is abd and slave and nothing. So therefore, the question is, Ya man yu'til kathira bil qalil, Ya man yu'ti man sa'ala. O Allah, you provide to the one who asks from you. Ya man yu'til kathira bil qalil, Ya man yu'ti man sa'ala. O he who gives to one who asks him. Ya man yu'ti man lam yas'alahu wa man lam ya'rif. And the beauty of Allah is that He gives to the one who asks. He gives to the one who do not ask as well. This is pointing out to that compassion of God. This is pointing out to that love of God, that how God is so, out of His mercy, He provides this beauty. He provides this goodness. Now, this quality of a person where he is in the state of nothingness and everything belongs to the Lord, to His Master. In a very beautiful hadith which I had mentioned last year, but I will repeat that hadith in order that it be فَذَكِّرٍ نَفَعَتِ الذِّكْرَى, as there is benefit in the dhikr. Amirul Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam says that there are 10 qualities of a dog which a mu'min should have in him. Dog becomes the example that a mu'min should really acquire from. That is why Amirul Mu'mineen says that hikmat, wisdom, is the lost treasure of a mu'min. He should get it from wherever he wants and he can learn from. So here it says that, number 1, a dog doesn't have any value as such amongst the people, so he is considered as a miskeen. Ana abdul miskeen ya ilahi, as we recite in our dua. A dog does not have any belonging to himself, any property to himself. He is not a malik. And this is the quality of those who are immaterial, those who are mujarrad, who have no ownership as such. And a true mu'min have no ownership. He is nothing. A true mu'min is a miskeen. A true mu'min is mujarrad. A dog does not have any house as such. He sleeps wherever he finds a place to. This is the state of mutawakkilan, those who trust God, those who do tawakkul upon God. A dog most of the time is hungry, and this is the quality of salihin, the righteous one who is always hungry to do amal khair, who is always hungry to seek good qualities, who is always hungry. They have this hunger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and of knowledge of God. A dog does a dog who is punished by the owner also returns back. If it is let out, also returns back to the owner. He returns back to the owner by wagging his tail, for example. This is the style or methodology or quality of those who are murid, those who are students, those who are true servers of the masters, right? A dog sleeps less at night and usually is guarding and awake the master. So this is the quality of the friends of God. The awliya are awake most of the time. Number 6. Number 7, a dog is most of the time quiet, does not bark, he is just quiet. This is the alamat and a sign of those who are the fearful ones. A dog is the one always pleased with the master. He is always pleased with the master. This is the quality of those who are self-sustained, self-satisfied, qane, happy in their own state from his master. Whatever comes from Allah, ma asaba min musibatin, as we recite in one of the verses of the Quran, famin Allah, waman yattaqillah, waman yumin billah, the one who have iman upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, yahdi qalbahu, his heart will be guided. So therefore he is always in the state of tranquility. Number 9, a dog upon whom you oppress, and even after being oppressed and hit and not taken care of, when you call that dog, for example, he will come running to you. This is the methodology of those who are loyal children. So therefore this should be humility. This is not children. This is the sign of those who are humble, those who who can tend to loyal, and this quality should be in a human being. And finally it says that when a dog dies, he does not leave behind any sort of heritage, and therefore as he does not leave behind any heritage, any property or anything, this is the methodology, or these are the one who are zahid, ascetics, those people who are ascetics, for example, who does not have any mal of the dunya as such. So these are the 10 qualities of a mu'min that he should have. And a mu'min who is like this, he will be saying, Ya man arjuhu li kulli khair. This quality will, Ya man yutil kathira bil qalil, Ya man yuti man sa'ala, Ya man yuti man lam yas'aluhu wa man lam ya'rif. This understanding will come about for a mu'min if he has these 10 qualities in him. So therefore this dua of the month of Rajab should bring about a change in us by the tamassuk, by the help and aid of recitation of this dua every day. Ya man arjuhu li kulli khair, Ya man arjuhu li kulli khair. Other than after our wajibat prayers, this continuous talqeen. What do you do? Talqeen mayyat. You do talqeen. You remind. You sort of like ilqa. You transfer that isma. If I'm, you say that the same way. Ya man arjuhu. I'm saying to myself, khair comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I am protected from shar because He does not have any shar as such. He gives in abundance even if I do little. Just the niyat I'm doing, I'm getting the reward. He gives to me if I ask Him, and even He gives to others as well. Those who do not really understand Him and those who do not really ask from Him. This is because of His mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Look how merciful God is, and He is the provider of this khair, of this goodness. Then also we recite that we ask Allah, A'tini bimas'alati iyak jami'a khair ad-dunya وَجَمِيعَ خَيْرِ الْآخِرَةِ. This is where I will stop, and the next half of the dua I will continue in our next program, because we are reaching to the end of the program. Give me by asking you all the good of the world and all the good of the hereafter. We are asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala all good. جَمِيعَ خَيْرِ الدُّنْيَا وَجَمِيعَ خَيْرِ الْآخِرَةِ, because God is full of goodness. There is no limit to His goodness. He is eternal good. And what we have and what we can have and what He could give is abundance and eternal goodness. There is no limit, and we ask for that as well. This doesn't mean that if I am asking Jamia Khair al-Akhirah, that means that Khair will finish. If He gives Jamia Khair al-Akhirah, then there should be no Jami, right? So that Jamia Khair al-Akhirah He can give me, He has that power to do so. The Jamia Khair al-Akhirah, the brother who is reciting dua next to me, he will give that as well. Whoever is reciting, he could provide that, because He is the Malik. He is the owner of all of these things. Brothers and sisters, we have reached to the end of the program, but I will just remind you of this great month of Rajab, a great opportunity. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive our marhumeen and have special blessings for them in this month of Rajab. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive all our sins and your sins and the sins of the mu'mineen and mu'minat, all those who are watching the show, attending the show, all those who are participating in preaching the message of Ahl Bayt alayhimus salam, the Hidayat TV, the people who are working behind the scenes. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept their du'as. This month is the month of dua. This month is the month of seeking forgiveness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This month is the month of wilayat and remembering the Ahl Bayt alayhimus salam, the wilayat of Ahl Bayt alayhimus salam, and asking for the reappearance of the 12th Imam. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala haste his reappearance and include us as His faithful companions. Thank you very much for joining us, and we take your leave tonight. غَفَرَ اللَّهُ لَنَا وَلَكُمْ. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive me and forgive you all, inshallah. And we will see you next week again, same time in the same program, Perspectives, in order to provide you with different perspectives of the month of Rajab, as we are focusing this month on the month of Rajab. Thank you very much, and goodbye from Hidayat. Goodbye. Thank you.